Hello everyone and welcome to Cyclins. In the previous sessions, we have looked at the meaning and definition of psychology, its brief history, and some major perspectives of psychology like structuralism, functionalism, gestalt psychology, psychodynamic perspective, and behaviorism. In this session, we will discuss about the other two major perspectives, that is, the cognitive perspective and the humanistic perspective. First, let us discuss about what is cognitive perspective. Cognitive perspective focuses on mental processes. It deals with how people think, remember, store, and use information. Cognitive psychology became a major force in the 1960s. Development of computers made a huge impact on the study of thought processes due to the parallels that can be drawn between information processing in computers and information processing in humans. Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development suggests that children move through 4 different stages of mental development. His theory focuses not only on understanding how children acquire knowledge, but also on understanding the nature of intelligence. Piaget developed a stage theory of intellectual development that included 4 distinct stages, namely sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, and formal operational stage. Works like Piaget's theory, Chomsky's theory on language, etc. laid foundations to the study of cognition. In fact, Gestalt psychology is the predecessor as it supported the study of mental processes of learning. Discoveries in biological psychology also stimulated the growth of the field. The major objective is studying processes of thought. Cognitive perspective is a modern perspective that focuses on memory, intelligence, perception, problem solving, learning, etc. The subject matter is a study of cognition, which is the mental act or process by which knowledge is acquired. There's an independent field of psychology emerging from this perspective known as the cognitive psychology. It is a scientific study of mind as an information processor. There's even a theory called information processing theory that is an approach to the study of cognitive development. The theory is based on the idea that humans process the information they receive rather than merely responding to stimuli. The perspective equates the mind to a computer, which is responsible for analyzing information from the environment. According to the standard information processing model for mental development, the mind's machinery includes attention mechanisms for bringing information in, short-term memory for actively manipulating information, and long-term memory for holding information for future use. Cognitive psychologists try to build up cognitive models of the information processing that goes on inside people's minds. Cognitive approach believes that internal mental behavior can be scientifically studied using experiments. Cognitive psychology assumes that a mediational process occurs between the stimulus and the response. Now that we know what cognitive perspective is all about, let's move on to humanistic perspective. Humanistic perspective is a relatively newer perspective, also known as the third force in psychology. Humanistic perspective focuses on people's ability to direct their own lives and on aspects of human nature that makes us uniquely human. Humanists believe that people have free will, that is, the freedom to choose their own destiny rather like other reductionistic perspective of behavior. Repeat, rather than other reductionistic perspective of behavior. The focus is on self-awareness. The earliest and most famous founders of this perspective were Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow. They rejected the deterministic view of psychoanalysis, only focusing on unconscious, and the reductionistic view of behaviorism, which makes the behavior seem as simple as stimulus-response relationship without accounting for the will of the individual at all. Abraham Maslow approached the study of personality psychology by focusing on subjective experiences and free will. He was mainly concerned with an individual's innate drive towards self-actualization, that is, a state of fulfillment in which a person is achieving at his or her highest level of capability. Maslow's hierarchy of needs ranks human needs from the most basic physical needs to the most advanced needs of self-actualization. A person must acquire and master each level of need before proceeding to the next need. Maslow's humanistic theory of personality states that people achieve their full potential by moving from basic needs to self-actualization. Carl Rogers agreed with Maslow's principles but also brought in the importance of environment needed for the person to grow. An environment that provides them with the genuineness, that is openness and self-disclosure, acceptance, that is being seen with unconditional positive regard, and empathy, that is being listened to and understood, is also crucial along with perseverance of the self. In humanistic perspective, emphasis is on the human potential, that is, the ability of each person to become the best person they could be. It stresses on the idea that people have inherent drive towards self-actualization. That is, the process of realizing and expressing one's own capabilities and creativity. This perspective believes that all people are inherently good. It uses a holistic perspective. It uses a holistic approach to explain human existence. Now that we know what cognitive perspective and humanistic perspective are, we can conclude that while psychodynamic perspective focuses on the unconscious, behaviorism focuses on observable behavior shaped by learning, humanistic approach to psychology satisfied most of the people's idea of what being human means because it values personal ideals and self-fulfillment. The cognitive approach is one of the most dominant approach in psychology today and has been applied to a wide range of practical and theoretical contexts. Cognitive perspective employs extremely scientific approach using laboratory experiments to study behavior, but humanistic perspective is more philosophical than scientific in nature. Although like all the other perspectives studied earlier, even these perspectives have their own major contribution and impact on the subject of psychology.